Lads. And today is a special video as I am sharing with you lads that right now I am growing through a breakup. Not going, I'm growing. And the plan of this video is to bring you through the understandings and the teachings that I've received. It's been over a week now, week and a half. And to live action show you my plan of action to now move through this. Now with this plan of action, I have not whatsoever sat down and done it yet. I want to show you, using frameworks within the brotherhood space, how I would go about it with any individual, any brother that comes into the space within a similar situation or in any aspect of their life. So I'm going to coach myself through this, and I want to take you along the journey with me. And I know this is it's a hard subject for a lot of people, and it's one of those deeper aspects of life and a deep experience and a blessing when we can truly receive the gifts that are brought through. And it really can be an initiation for men into their manhood, into loss and into grief and into sadness and the ability to feel one's emotions and to let go and surrender. Not surrender in terms of giving up, but surrendering to a greater power and to your fate. Right, there's a saying I love, which is amor fati, a love of one's fate. It's looking at everything both good and perceivably bad as part of your fate. So in the last week and a half, there's been a lot of teaching that's come through. There's been a lot of emotions, as normal. And I'm very grateful because of the line of work that I'm in, having the tools to be able to navigate through the emotions and fully feel them. And I feel, number one, that is the most important tool, is not to run away from your emotions or suppress, which it can be. And in past relationship breakdowns, I have turned to porn, to online dating, to burying my head in work, all these things, right? But what ends up happening is I stuff the emotions or energy in motion down and distract myself with these scenarios. And it's generally through a place of feeling lack, where I'm trying to seek validation and so forth, and it can never quite fill a void because it's from a place of ego and from a place of fear. So really taking the time to sit in the emotion, to feel it, to acknowledge it, to allow it to pass through, and I have really started to feel a whole lot better. This is definitely the swiftest I've moved through a breakup, for sure. It was definitely one of the most painful, if not the most painful, but it was so beautiful, right? And I was very proud of myself of how amicably it was done and not done from a place of ego. That's not to say at times my ego hasn't flared up and that I haven't felt angry, that I haven't felt sad, that I haven't felt frustrated. I feel like I've felt every spectrum of emotion, and that is okay. And probably one of the hardest part was that I had really felt that I had met my person, right? The one. And now after this, I've come to a deeper understanding. I don't know if there is a one. I feel there's many ones or many individuals who can align with who you are. It's just getting a deeper understanding of what are your aligned values, and do those values align with that person? And if they don't, it doesn't matter how amazing the connection is, it's not going to survive, right? You can't enforce it into reality. It's not your job to change anyone. Otherwise you're trying to play God, right? And that's way too much weight on your shoulders, and eventually reality will bite back and it will reflect back. So what a beautiful teaching relationships are, what a mirror they are for yourself, and every relationship is reflective of the one with yourself. So the key teaching now is to come back, greater self-awareness, be grateful for the lessons that came through, and really, really seeing this as a graduation to the next level, right? As an initiation into the best version of yourself, and utilizing the pain and the hardship that comes from these sort of situations as to learn and grow and get better. And that's what I'm saying, why I'm growing through a breakup, not going through, because I firmly believe that it's not a condemnation from life, but it's actually an invitation to the next level of myself. So I really want to break down the teachings that I've received so far, and number one being the highest frequency on the emotional Spain scale, there's a reason why I'm going here, is authenticity. All right, we would think it would be love, But actually what supersedes love is authenticity at 2112 hertz, right? If you're not being authentic with all aspects of yourself within the relationship, because I know there was parts of me I was suppressing or repressing to the side in order to be loved, it's a performance and it's inauthentic. And wherever there's inauthentic, there's, you're not being honest. And then if you feel like you have to then perform and not be authentic, then it causes anxiety because you're either in the past or the future, right? And you're not in the moment. So then you have to think. And the moment you think, you're out, right? Need someone to fall in love with the character rather than who you actually are. And also, if you are seeking to change your partner or believe in the future a part of them can change, that's generally a recipe for disaster. It's not your responsibility to change anyone, and it's no one's responsibility to change yourself. So the deepest lesson I've received is that the crux of the matter here, and I'll break this down in the plan of action, we can say the framework I use, is the core is authenticity. If you are not being your authentic self, you are going to reflect a relationship with that energy, all right? If you are being authentic, completely yourself, all aspects, completely owning aspects of self, you're going to attract a relationship that reflects that, all right? And again, it's all down to you. It's all down to you. So next lesson is, if you're familiar with Carl Jung's work, he has a framework called the anima and the animus, all right? So one of my favorite quotes is, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. Now, why would we attract someone that we generally feel is the one, yet only for life to maneuver that relationship out of your life? And for a man's front here, we will attract a reflection of a woman who almost meets all of our perfect ideals. At least we project our perfect ideals onto this individual, which is completely unfair because we are projecting all of our fantasies onto a person that's human, right? And likely they're doing the same for yourself. So you are reflecting their animus, so the male aspect of the female, and they are reflecting your anima, so the female aspect of the male. What happens is this beautiful individual allows us to unlock aspects of ourselves we didn't even know we had, or at least had lost over a long time. And how beautiful is that, to have a person or a soul who come into your life to unlock those aspects of yourself. And this process is a process of honoring the teachings that they brought through, not projecting that, oh, that person was the only way I could access that part of myself, which is easy to do. But understanding that now you have accessed those aspects in the relationship and the teachings that they brought through and seeing the examples that they set in your life, it's honoring this chapter of your life by continuing to live those parts of yourself out. That is the blessing of these relationships. It's not a tragedy, it's a graduation. A graduation into wholeness and to all those aspects of ourselves that we still were giving our power away. And that the deeper we can come into relationship with ourselves and into the deepest alignment and deepest authenticity from that space, when it's meant to happen, the perfect and aligned relationship, well, perfectly aligned, not perfect, perfectly aligned relationship will come to the forefront. So cool, it's been a lot of lessons. Again, they're going to continue to come through. It's up and down. There's no doubt about it, all right? There's some days I feel like, okay, cool. I'm out the other side, then bang, it hits me again. And that's okay, right? And I want to share these lessons, these teachings, live action. And on that note, let's jump into
Alrighty, so here we go. So this is what we call the triangle model. All right, so as you can see here, we've got our perceivable problem. Oh, let's just rub that out. That's a bit of a too thick, right? So we've got our perceivable problem, and then we've got our promise for the future, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to outline here what I am currently experiencing at the moment, and then we are going to bring in the middle here, all right? So let's say in the middle, let's start off with it, right? So in the middle here, this is our core, right? And what was it that I said before? Our core was authenticity. Right, now excuse my handwriting. Right, so the core was authenticity. Now, let's start off with the problem, right? So the problem at the moment, obviously, is back in the single game. Now, we've got, obviously, there's hurt involved. There's loneliness, right? Especially as well, being in a brand new country, well, Ireland, or a country I was born, but still getting to know everyone. Loneliness, and we've also got the B, sadness, right? There's no if, buts, or maybes about it. Now, we can get bitter about all of that, all right? We can get bitter at life, and don't get me wrong, there's been points where I have. Or we can get better, all right? We can use it as fuel. We can see it as a beautiful gift from life. We can see it as not a condemnation, but actually life believing in you. And so you ask for strength, and you ask for the Excalibur, and you ask for all these amazing life. Well, again, you're going to equally ask for the challenges necessary in order to forge you into the motherfucker who can fully live that life out. So that's what we're doing here. We're coming up with a plan of action. So these are all my perceivable problems, all right? Now, again, some of them can be very real. Now, I want to reiterate under here, what I want to talk about is the core underneath. We want to ensure that there's emotional regulation. Actually, let's pop it. Let's pop it down the bottom here. So, emotional regulation. So that's the key. It doesn't matter what the fuck you do, if you're not acknowledging the emotions as they come up, right, you're not going to be able to move through it because the body holds the score. So I want to acknowledge my emotions, allow myself to really notice where are they in my body and feel them fully, feel them to the point where it drives me insane. And as I do that, the energy to energy emotion will start to move through, and it brings healing, right? Because the brain's in shock. It's just had this person who's been a crucial bond and a crucial, ally in my life, and someone who I love dearly and care dearly about. So there's a process that the brain, that the body has to go through as it's withdrawing from what would be an addiction, right? An addiction of validation and dopamine. You don't have that, so the brain's looking for different ways to make that happen, or to fulfill or fill in the gaps where they are left. But the only true void that can be filled there is our own deeper acknowledgement, self-love, regulation, validation, right? So awesome. Now, the key there is not to be stuck. If I find myself getting stuck in the storyline, I'm a victim, that's a no-go, right? We're not victims to reality. What we are is we are creators, right? We are empowered. And life is happening for me, not to me. So I'm allowed to feel sad. However, it's not saying that I'm a victim to reality, right? I really want to underline that. So in authenticity on the sides here, we want to be focusing on mission, right? Community, this would be the 3 in my eyes anyway. And then we've got self-care. All right, so let's highlight these. Right, so mission, self-care, community. Those are my trifecta golden pillars. So let's then move over. So knowing when I integrate those in, what's the promise? Well, the promise is that I'm going to feel whole, that I'm going to feel connected to myself first and foremost, and then that will overflow and reflect in reality. There's going to be a beautiful aligned wife and kids, right? There's authenticity, which we have there. So I'm authentically myself, right? Whole, connected, authentic, and we can say aligned, right? Now we could say happy and all those things, but happy is a fleeting emotion. It comes and goes, right? And obviously we can say they're fulfilled, right? So this is the life I'm moving towards. So we're going from here, let's do this. So we're going from here across to here. Now, this middle part is the how. So this is the how. Right, so let's head back to black here. Okay, so if I am not on my mission, right, authentically, I'm going to feel, let's go red, right, I'm going to feel lost. If I'm not bringing through self-care, I'm going to feel disconnected. Right? If I don't have community, I'm going to feel alone. All right? So, which then leads me to ruminate on my past relationship and go down a negative spiral. So, if I am stuck in these, then it's just a negative spiral down, right? I get stuck in a loop and then there's no way out, right? There's no way out. So the reality is, my bro, it's happened, all right? It's happened. We can't turn back time, all right? And there's a process of letting go, and you've just got to pick yourself back up, all right? And this is what I'm doing with myself here is, again, if it's up to me, it's up to me. And I'm very grateful to have the tools. And I'm saying this for myself. It's like, you've just got to go on. You've just got to go on. And it's hard. It is. But what's the alternative? Feeling lost, feeling disconnected, and feeling alone? It's like, no one's worthy of that, right? I would never wish that on anyone. I wish for her to go and have the most amazing life and to feel all those things. Doesn't mean at times my ego is going to come up and the insecurities and all that, of course. But the deeper part of myself, from a place of love, really wants the best for them. But what we're focusing on here is really want the best for myself, right? Because I want a life that feels deeply authentic to who I am, right? So being lost, being disconnected, and being alone is not an option, right? So the antidote is self-care, community, and mission. That feeds my authenticity. So let's have a look. What am I going to do now to bring in self-care, right? Well, what does self-care look like for me? Well, it definitely means the gym, right? It means going to my saunas, right? Self-care means getting out in nature. It meant, unfortunately, unfollowing on socials. Otherwise, I'm just continuing to open the wound, right? And self-care means, what would be another thing? Yeah, upgrading and learning from really sitting with what did I learn from this relationship? What did it teach me? All right, so then I can step into the next one with a greater level of awareness, greater tools. All right, so community, that's also my gym. It means going to like-minded spaces, right? So that can be meditation, yoga, business events, all of those. These are non-negotiables for me. So these are all action items. These are all my way through. So it's like, okay, when I'm feeling shit, I come back to this map and I'm like, okay, right, am I integrating all of these when I'm feeling alone? Okay, where am I in community? It also means serving, right? All suffering is caused by focusing on me, right? So the way through is to serve, make it bigger than yourself, right? Community, like-minded. We've also got gym. And what's another one? It would be, football, hobbies and social time with friends. Last weekend, I went to a festival and it was amazing. And there was heaps of like-minded people there and very aligned. So just getting out, especially for me in a brand new country here, or at least since I was a child, all my friends are in Australia. So it's getting out, making new connections, even for brotherhood, right? So bang. And then we'll also pop in here, brotherhood. I know for me in a circle, I've built it equally for me as I have for the lads as well. Right, so mission, lost, right? So antidote is taking action. On what I want, right? Let's go what I want, right? It also means, so alchemizing pain. So alchemizing like what I'm doing here. So alchemizing my pain into purpose, right? So sharing my teachings. It means generating more wealth, because the reality is, as I generate more wealth and as I get better as a man, I increase my options, which means it's the reality. I increase my options and then I can choose the females who I am most aligned with. And I know that sounds terrible, but it's the reality of how it is. So the more you get better, the better options you have, and then you can choose which one aligns with you the best. I feel like we all want that, right? So generating wealth, mission, lost, and then for me, it's also lifestyle business. So creating it in a way that it works for me, that rather than me working for it. So bang. So lads, let's go and let's pop these in the green. I know it's a bit all over the place, but let's see here. So here are our action items. So when it comes to self-care, so ensuring that I'm not feeling disconnected, am I going to the gym? Am I going to the sauna? Am I getting in nature? Again, am I looking back on old photos of my ex or videos? It's like, no, that's a boundary for me. I know I'm going to feel terrible if I do that, right? So we've got to move on, right? That relationship, bring the teachings forward, but if you keep reminiscing, it has to die. It has to die to move forward. So there's the mourning process of that and there's the grieving, but eventually you have to move forward, right? And continuing to upgrade. It's like, okay, what did I learn? What did I gain, right? So then if I'm feeling alone, okay, go to football. Am I serving? Am I having social times with friends? Am I making like-minded individuals? Again, am I going to the gym? Checking in on my brotherhood lads, right? I start making about more than just me, so I'm not stuck in my head, right? Then if I'm feeling lost, taking action on what I want, alchemizing my pain into purpose, sharing my lessons on spaces like this, ensuring that I'm generating more wealth, which increases my options, and then therefore also creating my business to ensure that it's a lifestyle business that works for me. Right, now if I do these things, it is going to ensure that I feel whole, I feel connected with myself, I will align with the wife and the kids that are aligned with who I am. So there's aligned again. I'm going to be extremely authentic with who I am, and therefore I'm going to feel deeply fulfilled, so fully filled. I'm going to fill my own heart with so much love that it overflows into the lives of others, right? And therefore I really step in as the creator and empowered in who I am. So lads, here is my plan of action. If you feel you want to do something similar...
Sorry, my phone just cut out. So lads, as you can see here, if you want me to run through this personally, please feel free to jump on the link below, message us on Instagram, Brotherhood Coaching, and I'm more than happy. I'm taking on 3 lads over the next week. Again, even if this is at a later date and you see this video, please reach out. And this is not just for your love life, this is also for your business, this is also for your health, this is also for just uncovering your purpose and becoming the best man capable. And this is the power of frameworks. I literally just wrote out a full plan of action for myself. I feel so much clearer, so much more aligned, and I'm very blessed that I got to do this in live action with you guys. So awesome. As always, lads, we are growing through it. The boss battles are the pearly gates to the next level. I know there's going to come times where I feel in the red there, but I immediately have the antidotes for myself, all right? And the same goes for you. So as always, the mission beckons, the mission calls. Let's fucking go.